Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Cryptic Crypto. Today I'm covering all things XCN, as requested by you on the channel X. 53% of you voted for me to give you a bit of an overview of why I've invested in XCN, price predictions, and what's next. Please like and subscribe. It really gives me an idea that this is the kind of content that you guys want, and the more likes, subscribes, and votes that I get, the more I'm going to invest my time into those areas. And if it does go well, obviously I'll be doing this on the weekly. So let's kick off. So what is XCN? It's a native cryptocurrency built on the Onyx protocol, built on, Web3, but built on primarily Ethereum. It's obviously a layer 3, although I believe with the Goliath network it's now layer 1 as well. And the focus is on scalable, user-friendly smart contracts for financial services and retail. Now, when we break that down, some of the core features are the fact that XCN holders actually get to vote. You'll see this if you follow them on, obviously, Telegram or on X. They're consistently putting out, like, do we want to reduce the gas fees? What about the staking? All these different things that are obviously, bullish if you're a user, because you actually get to have a say in where they're going. Utility to pay gas fees, you can be paid in, obviously, XCN. Access to premium services, facilities. Staking, huge. One of the reasons why I initially got back into into XCN, is at 35%. I mean, that's also a positive and a negative. I have to be clear that obviously that does increase selling pressure. And when you've got obviously selling pressure, because people can be, if you've got a million coins or 10 million coins, it's obviously 300,000 or 3 million XCN you get paid per year. And from that perspective, obviously you can sell them at any point. My view was that if the price goes up, because I've just, obviously I took profits earlier on in the year, but primarily I've just been, stacking, to be honest with you, claiming the staking rewards on the sort of bi-weekly and then, compounding that interest, because, even without compounding, the price would have to go down sort of 28% for me to make a loss. And even if it goes up 10%, realistically, that's like a 40% ROI, which is huge, without the coin really having to do a lot. It supports P2P lending, borrowing, as well as cross-border payments, obviously like XRP and Stellar Lumens. Anyone that knows, or listen to any of the channel, I'm obviously pretty bullish on those guys. Faster, transparent settlements and enterprise solutions, a cloud-based blockchain infrastructure from that perspective. Now, the evolution. So XCN wasn't always XCN or Onyx. It was, I believe, originally from Chain back in 2022, and they swapped it for around 1 to 1,000. The post rebrand, the value went up 50%. Key upgrades were OnyxDAO, Onyx Cloud Beta, staking exchange listings on Coinbase, Binance, and KuCoin, as well as the Goliath mainnet, which was launched in sort of March 2025. It's been a lot of volatility this year, obviously from going from below 1 cent, I believe, all the way up to 5 cents. But they are continuously upgrading their systems, and Goliath mainnet I'm pretty bullish on, and some of the other partners that they're beginning to bring on. Some of the risks, right? I get this all the time. Are they linked to JP Morgan? No, they're not. To be fair, this rumor has been floated around for ages. They're not, just being honest. Volatility, price fluctuation, on average between 3 to sort of 8, 9, 10% on the weekly. Regulatory risks, no real governance or an idea in terms of like what the actual team is. And the investment caution for me would be it's high risk, high reward. It's not a low risk asset. It's obviously layer 3. It's been flowing within the top 100. I think now it's around about 110. But it's still early. What direction is the project going? They need to be bringing on, big companies, or showcasing, cool, they're building all this value around retail, and the sentiment is high from those investors. But externally from that, who are they actually going to be working with? And there's low interest right now. We'll go through the volumes, and I'll give you a bit of an idea of that. But like the trading volumes on the daily are, nothing to be, particularly excited about. But it is a coin where it doesn't take a lot for it to really prompt. Why I invest? Look, I just put this into ChatGPT at the top. I think it was Grok, to be fair, might have been, but speculative estimates 0.45 to 70 cents. I'll be honest, I'll run through mine at the end, so stay to the very end and you actually see I'll run through some of the charts on XCN and why I'm bullish. Scalability, increased DeFi, investor interest. Look, I think it doesn't take a lot of many wells to really pump this. They're already on some major exchanges, and the access to being able to actually purchase it, which for a lot of small cap coins is difficult, is quite easy. It's got a great community. If you go on a Telegram, if you go on X, okay, cool. There's some people that are bearishly posting underneath some of the bull or Onyxcoin or XCN coin bulls, but they're gaining. Like whenever you go through a project that's pumped absolutely massively this year, and there's actually, if you had the coin prior to December, has outperformed Bitcoin, people are always going to be negative. Oh, mate, it's a pump and dump, it's an XYZ. But the community is really strong. High staking rewards, like I said, around 28%, I believe, right now. Farming and rewarding through points. They've just released, I think, about a month ago, a point system. They've released, obviously, AI and some other stuff as well, which, they're continuously improving, which is great to see, and they seem to care. That's huge. I was part of, if you want to Google it, Ring Financial Years, which literally pumped up, and you were getting all these nodes, and they were producing more and more. I was very, very early to it, so I left with a bang, but I know a lot of people didn't, and the founders, etc., didn't really seem to care at all. And when it comes to this, XCN, they definitely do, in terms of the community and the people that are supporting the Telegram group. They all seem to care. It's deflationary. Each transaction burns a percentage of XCN. This is bullish and circulating supply, because the more users we have, the more interactions that we have, the higher the price will go, and the less XCN there will be. So every single transaction, is going to be deflationary on the overall asset, which for me means that, the price or price action, which is ultimately, to be honest with you, if you're not here for the price action, I don't know why you're here, because, that's exactly what I'm here for. Also the holders are increasing. 117,000 holders. Okay, the market cap is only 438. Again, that's brilliant for me, because 40 million in daily volume isn't a lot in crypto, to be honest with you. And if Bitcoin dominance drops and Ethereum, which was originally built on, pumps, I believe that obviously XCN has a huge upside, because 40 million increase is roughly a 10% increase in the market cap, which is probably a 10%. Well, would almost work to a 10% increase in terms of the value of the bag that you're holding. And if you're staking, that value of that bag increases quite dramatically. So that's just to give you a bit of an overview. And then I wanted to go over to their website, because I think their website's quite interesting, because when you break it down, it looks really flash. I do think they should have something on here around staking percentages or holders or those sort of things, but overall it's pretty flash. Like cross-border design of banking securities, secure, base layer 3. We share the economic security of Ethereum and base. So they're pretty well protected. Powered by Onyx on all transaction fees, all settled in XCN, and the proportion is burned. Like I said, deflationary. That's what we want, because the overall circulating supply is 34 billion. The total supply is 48 billion. So to be honest with you, there's not it's not like it would take a lot to kind of absorb all of that. It's available on Coinbase, KuCoin, all of these massive. Revolut is available. I mean, Binance is available. It's huge, like in terms from that perspective, like being able to actually get access to this. So all it takes is a bit of rhetoric, and I do think the OnyxDAO could do a lot more in terms of their marketing to actually gauge more interest in that. There's also the DApp. You can vote on here as long as you're obviously linked to it. They've recently launched OnyxAI, well, not recently, a little while ago, and Bridge to USDC, Chain, obviously, where they've begun from, and Third Web is more recent, which I'll run through. That's a more recent partnership that they've got, and like I said, the more partners that they begin to have, or the ecosystem, the wider it spreads. That's only going to be bullish, and I do think we were still really early for this when we actually break it down. Decentralized governance powered by XCN and deployed on the Ethereum blockchain governs all economic staking activity and community. And again, on here, I think it says 23.4%. I'll check that in a second. Recently launched, obviously, the smart wallet, which also I haven't launched, but it's coming soon, which I think is, once they've launched that, I'll be more bullish, because I think as a retail investor, what you want to see from your investments like XCN is the fact that they are investing and they are looking to move forwards. That's why I'm so confident it's not like a pump and dump. There is actually people that are actually trying to build this forwards. They've got so many different ambassadors. Like I said, they've launched the point system, which, yeah, again, let's have a little read of that. What are Onyx points? Onyx points are non-transferable and accrue to eligible wallet addresses based on actual economic activity within the Onyx system. These points reflect your contributions such as holding whitelisted assets or transacting through. All activity is tracked on the chain, ensuring the reward process transparency. You know, and you 10% of XCN's 2,500. So look, have a little look at this. Like in terms of the actual point system, you know, it's not something I've hugely looked at, to be honest with you, because it is so new. But I know there's been quite a lot of bullish activity from that. And the more you can get the people that have invested in this actually investing in the points or investing in, you know, the bits that you're kind of looking at, like the AI or being able to launch a meme or whatever it might be, the more value you're going to get out of your community. And ultimately, that's what XCN needs right now. It's a small cap firm. They need retail sentiment to be high, and they do need to obviously be growing, you know, some of their more, well, they're basically ecosystem and some of the partners that they're working with. But it's really interesting if you break it down, have a look at their obviously white paper, look at the app, bridge to Onyx. You know, like it's really easy to use, to be honest with you, which is obviously something I love. Let's have a look. When I launch the app, I'm not going to log in. Yeah, 27.68%, and it's going down. For me, that's really bullish, if I'm honest, because I want it to go down because I've already got, you know, quite a lot of XCN, and from that perspective, when this goes down, it's going to decrease the sort of sell pressure. We really want to get to like sub 10, in my opinion, from that perspective. But you know, the more, look at this, 4.94 billion is staked. It's liquid stake as well. You could take it out at any point. I mean, like, where do you get those kind of returns on any other coin out there? Name one and share. Please share. Again, these are some of the apps. Cool. So a bit of news recently. Onyx protocol partners with ThirdWeb. Onyx is proud to announce a strategic partnership with ThirdWeb, a leading web infrastructure. Why a gasless smart wallet? I hear you ask, because that's what they're looking to build. Traditional blockchain wallets are, God, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, for most users, requiring gas fees and native tokens just to perform simple transactions. With our new smart wallet, Onyx is removing those barriers. Users will be able to interact with the Onyx ledger without needing to pay gas fees. It's frictionless, intuitive, and designed to feel like using a modern Web2 app while maintaining fully decentralized under the hood. Look, I mean, that is really bullish. The fact you won't have to pay, like, obviously gas fees for a lot of this, and they're building it, and, you know, they've announced literally, you know, a month or so ago that they're doing this. Again, that shows their commitment to wanting to build something, which for me is massive. And when we break it down and look at the crypto bubbles, okay, cool, these are a lot of the coins I've got. But let's look at the year. All my holdings is outperforming 938%. 938%. That is crazy. Like, I mean, look, everyone's talking about XRP, yeah, 435%. People are like, my God, Bitcoin's over 100 grand, 91%. Oh, Sui's not doing well recently. Well, Sui's up 354%, but none of them have come close. It's double, obviously, XRP on the year. Okay, cool. If we break it down the month, like I said, 8.4%, you know, bothered. To be honest with you, I'm up significantly, and it would have to go down significantly for me to be down. And when you're investing in these things, that's what you're looking for. So when we break it down and we look at the chart, let's go all the way back. You know, like when people are like bearish on it, look, we were back in December 2024, we were less than a third of a cent. You know, look at that pump. Let's measure it. Let's just measure, like, even from here. 1,297% up within how long? Like from what? January. My God, like literally within the space of 2 weeks, that move. And that's why people can't sleep on this coin. Like, in my opinion, like, you need to get involved, because those kind of pumps, are huge. And I got into it. I'm not going to go through all the TA of why I got into it, but yeah, I got into it down here. I was like, cool, that looks good. Let's just buy a little spot. Let's see where we go. Oh my God, absolutely pumped. And then I got into looking at some of the community, and look, that was a lot of volume then. 71 million, 74 million daily traded. Like, now look at the volume. It's been going down because market sentiment around crypto as a whole is low. So there's bearish lows in terms of people actually searching for it. And what we need is retail interest to increase. But when we break it down and we look at this chart, and yeah, this is how I've done it. Like, you know, I appreciate some people might do it like that or X, Y, Z. Mine is like, once we break this line, I'm going to be very bullish, because that shows that, you know, it has completely broken out of it. Right now we are trading below the 20, 50, 100 and 200 moving average. And for me, you know, it's a good time to buy. I think there still could be some downside, and I'm not going to hide behind that. We could go down to a cent or even less than a cent if we're trading, you know, if we're trading in between these lines and we're doing this and going up and down and up and down and up and down and squeezed, and the longer the consolidation, the higher pump, and then we literally shoot off. Oh God, didn't like the shoot off, and shoot off all the way up here. You're going to be pretty happy, right? Because I'm going to be I'm going to be pretty happy from that perspective. And to be honest with you, like, look, cool. If we do that, that's even better. Because if we go up here, that's good. But if we come from where the bottom, where like we basically have to choose, are we going to go down or are we going to go up? Oh, won't let me do it, but cool. That's not even at the bottom of the tray. You know, I'm looking at realistically my next setup for success is around $2. It's pretty much bang on $2. Sorry, 2 cents. $2 would be lovely. And then there's 3 cents, 4 cents, 6 cents, like almost all the way up to 8 cents. Do you know what I mean? And I do truly believe that, you know, XCN can be, you know, 10 cents and up from that. I've literally just done this as a quick show in terms of where we could be getting to on the short, because generally when we get past the 4.236 on the Fibonacci, that's when I want to like take a look a bit more around the chart, because we could be coming up, hit that, down, consolidate, up, next one, come down, consolidate, up. And I want to see, like, what is the volume looking like? What's the market sentiment looking like? How quickly has this price action come? Have we, like, because what you really want, if I'm honest, is, you know, retesting. You like going straight up all the way to the top, and then, you know, literally the chances it's going to crash all the way back down without there being retest. So my short term, like where I believe we're going to get to next, which I'm sure is not going to excite everyone, because you're like, oh, we were at 2, you know, we were back at like almost 3 cents in April, and you know, now we're in May and 17, and you know, we were almost at 2 cents in June. I'm like, cool, like that's not how it works. You know, people always ask me when banana, when Lambo, those things. We have to, you know, look at these structures and go like, cool, like when are we going to break out? What do we need to see? Because this breakout again was based off volume coming into the market through market sentiment. I don't know, there might have been some releases around there, or you know, it might have been something particularly bullish. And we tested this line continuously all the way down, and once we break it, my opinion is, you know, the first height would be 2 cents, then I'll be looking at, you know, pretty much 4 cents, then I'll be looking at almost 6 cents, with, like, in my opinion, and I will be taking profits. I'll be taking profits when we're above this line. Do you know what I mean? Because like one of the other short term is like breaking this line of resistance here at about, you know, 2 and a bit cents. And that's my kind of market thesis for this. Is like, it's really clear to see, guys, like, look, there was, even when people talk about volume now, right, we've got the Goliath mainnet, we're on Qcoin, we're on all these different things. Look how, you know, crap the volume was before December. Look at it, and people go, oh god, there's no volume. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a hell of a lot more volume than there was. It's just, look, we're literally trading in there. Like, we're kind of trading around about, you know, top end 2.6 a day. When it doesn't take a lot, 25 million, or back then 76 million, and we saw it absolutely skyrocket. What, you know, we have 100 million, you know, a day trading, or 50 million every single day, with hopefully, you know, a 30 mil net. You're going to see a huge increase in price, and that's why I hold this coin, is because I do truly believe that the when I look at the risk reward ratio, that this chart, and I do not believe that this is going to zero. I think, you know, like, its setup is pretty clean, and it's really easy to see when we're going down there. And when we look at our fibs and we measure the upside, and what it also from a history perspective, what it's done in the past, and even if you're like, I don't believe this is a bull flag, so I'm not going to measure that. Like, even when we look at this in the past, you know, in the space of 2 weeks, we went up, what, 1,200. Why would you not want, you know, some of your portfolio to be an XCN? I genuinely don't see any reason why it wouldn't be, because yes, we're trading below the moving averages, as I said in my last video. Sometimes that's an excellent opportunity, you know, to get lower prices in where the action is it, especially if you've been doing some basic TA and you're looking at, okay, what the line of support is, because I'm sure if we came down here, we could probably go, well, are we close to this? Is that now going to offer a line of support? So are we going to come down here? And does that mean that we might bounce off earlier in the cycle? And that's why, you know, I have access to this. Like I said, the staking, you know, the community, the fact that there's not a lot of volume that is needed. But if you are holding XCN, you need to be part of that community and pushing the messaging out. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do on this video. Like I said, please like and subscribe. If you've got anything you'd like to add, or anything like any other coins you'd like me to cover, let me know. The way in which I'm going to know that this was a success is by the interactions on this. So if you do generally like this and you want me to be doing this on a weekly basis and covering XCN in more detail, let me know. But for me today, that's the end of my coin. Not my coin, my video, because, you know, I just wanted to give you a bit of an overview of the project, a bit of an overview of, you know, some of my short, medium term price targets, and, you know, give you an insight. If you're expecting me to say $1, like I said, that's too far in the future for me to, you know, that's not going to happen in a week, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, and a lot can change for rhetoric on the market. So, you know, that is, you know, I'd be a very rich man if we were up to $1 a coin. Do I think it's possible long term? Yeah, 100%. But, you know, when we went back on our thing here, like, what did ChatGPT or whatever it was say? You know, speculative estimates around 45 cents to 70 cents by the end of 2025. If that happens, I'm pretty darn happy. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be happy with that as well. So, like I said, give it a like and subscribe. Appreciate your time, guys. And yeah, hope you have a lovely rest of your weekend. Peace.